talking all about niching down on how to build your business. And I think Samia has a very good read on that. So I'm going to ask her some questions also. But you guys, as you guys know, she just launched Lino Cosmetics on Shopify. So she launched a store. You launched your business. How long has it been taking you? It's been what, like a year and a half in the process?
Mm-hmm.
But a year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how did you, because you're currently going through like all of your meta ad, all of your strategy, and you're niching down quite a bit. How do you do that? Like, how did you find your target demographic and really niche down on knowing that you wanted to build this cosmetic company? Like, you had the need. What kind of led you to say, I am starting with this multi-purpose serum, and I'm going to solve all of the mom's problems? If you guys haven't tried it, you should.
Is actually from my own personal need because I really love skincare and I really love clean skincare. And it started with my pregnancy journey when I was finding out about just like whatever you put on your skin goes into your bloodstream and it would like affect the baby. So it just sort of like started making me aware. And then, of course, that spills into what you eat and things like that. But I was using like, I don't know, 6 or 7 products every morning, and it just wasn't feasible with children and trying to get out the door. So I basically put everything I was using into one bottle. So I was
Yeah,
literally just solving a problem for a busy mom and then brought it to market.
that's amazing.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna put a download in our chat right now for finding your niche. But I love how very specific and geared towards your audience you are in just about everything you do, even when it comes to like your money handbook and everything that you've written and all that you do with Abundant Academy. It's very like, okay, what is our end goal? What are we trying to accomplish? How are we going to accomplish this? But you're always very specific in your approach and consistent, which is something that I struggle with sometimes. And I think that you're brilliant at. So I'm so happy that you joined us for today. Okay, so can you guys see this? Is this attaching? Okay. So what I'd like for everybody to do is let me know where you are in your business journey. What are you looking to accomplish when it comes to being a business? Drop it in the chat. Are you trying to figure out your digital product? Are you at the beginning start of your business? Are you kind of where Samia is? Are you like, where are you? Kristen, I think that you are in real estate, right? You may be wanting to get in digital products. Toni, I know you are completely in digital products, looking like the homeschooling space. I just want to get a read as to where everybody currently is, and we can focus on that, on where we need to start focusing on finding your niche. Okay, so I will, while everybody's texting us, you made an organic clothing and soap. That's so cool. You're a licensed health accident insurance agent. Neat. Are you looking to maybe turn that, Sierra, into a digital product? Maybe you can teach other moms how to do that. Jana, you're in the beginning, you're a nurse. Thank you for being a nurse. Focus on holistic health, and you work from home, you have a blog. That's so cool. You're trying to grow. Okay. You want to train others in life insurance. I think that that's critically important. And actually, my business mentor, Brad Lee, he has Real Financial, and he does like all kinds of life insurance and stuff like that. So he has an actual program in training. So we can talk about that offline. Or yes, Toni, you are creating digital products for helping other moms how to learn. Yes, insurance is very misunderstood. You guys can like come off mute and talk. We can have full discussion. So I'm not reading this and telling it to you. We're allowed to talk. Um, okay. So what I want you to do is, if everybody hasn't already, I would very much like for you to download ChatGPT, or at least open it, so you know that that's something that you're going to want to be using. I use ChatGPT all of the time when it comes to identifying like my business and what I'm looking to accomplish, because I like to have somewhat of a brainstorming session with myself before I bring anybody else into the conversation. If I'm looking to create a digital product, or we can start with Kaya and Cash to begin with. Amanda Sellers is joining us as well. Kaya and Cash is my clothing line that I started. And I've... Thank you. Sorry, guys. Kaya and Cash is my clothing line that I started. And I started that actually through opening ChatGPT and saying, what are the best ways that I can bring a clothing line to market? What is it? Shopify? Is it Etsy? Kind of identifying what that is and really leaning into what the brainstorming conversation was when I went back and forth. Sorry. And can anybody else relate to what I'm dealing with right now?
100%.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Got another one right here.
Okay, thank you. I had this whole thing set up. We had a conversation, and then I have a teething baby that does not want anything to do with her crib or her bed or anything. So thank you for understanding. Okay, you have 8 running around. I think that's good. So let me just start then, because clearly my brain went like crazy with a baby. What are you struggling with when it comes to niching down? Because the hardest part, and the thing that we talked about last week, was we need to focus on our messaging, right? In today's society, everybody needs a social media presence. But how are you actually going to be garnering your social media presence that converts? Whether you have a brick and mortar store, whatever business you're selling, you are going to need clients that convert, right? So how do you get those clients? You niche down. And when you're niching down and you're actually identifying who your target market is, and you're having them come in through social media, you're giving them kind of a freebie or some sort of something to get an email. Then you move them into your email marketing. You go through the entire customer journey. You want to be always going back to, what is my niche? How am I niching down? It's not just moms, right? So like Abundant Academy, we're not just moms, we're conservative, faith-based moms that want to work from home on digital products or through automated businesses. We want to learn how to leverage AI to be able to actually be with our babies and be okay when things like this happen. So we want a niche group of moms that are all on the kind of like-minded, on the same board. So the way that I found that, or communicate that online through all of our media, is I have ChatGPT help me. I literally talk to ChatGPT like she is my assistant. And I go through and I brain dump on, here are the different things that I'm trying to accomplish for my business. So wherever you stand, you always need to make sure that you're niching down and you're talking to the right demographic. Thanks, Jenna. Does any of that make sense? And is everybody already using ChatGPT? Is everybody already kind of found their target demographic, or do we want to dive into that part more?
I'm pretty new to ChatGPT.
You are? Okay.
I've never used it.
You've never used it. Okay. This is going to be your best friend, completely your best friend. So if you don't have a huge team, which clearly I don't. I have an amazing team of experts, but I don't have a staff. I need hands-free, right? So I need something to be able to like talk into, which is what I do with the ChatGPT app. If you haven't downloaded your ChatGPT app, you're going to want to. It's totally free. You don't need to use the paid. And you're going to want to brain dump. You use ChatGPT all the time. That's amazing.
What's brain dump?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what's your business? What do you want to get into?
I'm in insurance.
Okay, so I am in insurance. Do you have what kind of insurance? You're in life and health insurance, right? And you want to teach other moms how to get involved in the financial system?
Yeah, because it's a lot of people can benefit from it.
A lot of people can benefit from it, and maybe you want 5 business ideas to be able to come up with something to work from home and automate that.
Yes.
Okay, so I literally just said that into my ChatGPT app.
Okay. What does ChatGPT do?
It literally Google searches, right? And it pulls from books, pulls from really everywhere from Google. It's powered by Google. It's an AI app. So you can have a mom finance academy or course. I think you know somebody that has an academy. You can monetize it through digital course sales, group coaching or mentoring, affiliate links, downloadable planners. Insurance lead generation business. So you can create a lead generation business with chatbots or email marketing. So it kind of really gives you this, if you can have a finance mama blog and affiliate income, virtual agency, plan and protect. So you can take all of that and you can say, okay, what would my target demographic look like if I wanted to create a finance mama blog with affiliate income? And what would be the first 5 to 10 steps that I would take to be able to accomplish that? And what ChatGPT is going to do is tell you what those 5 steps are. Your primary audience is age 26 to 42. Does that sound typical of the people that you work with?
Yes. Typically
female, mostly married or in long-term relationships. Yes. They have 1 to 4 kids. Their income is 60,000 and above. Typically, they're US based. Their pain points are maybe they're living paycheck to paycheck. They have lack of time to learn or complex finance topics. They're confused by life insurance, retirement savings, or investing. And their goals are to stay home with their kids, reduce work hours, maybe be financially stable. They're moderately comfortable with tech. Does that sound like people that you work with on a regular basis?
Yes, because the computer is definitely our basis for everything. Anything paper is like, there's a million forms that you have to sign with paper. So getting it all online and almost everyone I know in insurance has a tablet, a laptop, a cell phone, multiple monitors.
So that's great. So that's something that you're going to want to leverage, because that might not be applicable to somebody else that maybe is starting to teach moms like Toni how to homeschool from home or certain things about education. Maybe those moms aren't really as, applicable, like they don't really understand computers or they're not as moderately tech savvy. So you may want to lean into like she may want to lean into a different demographic, right? So you're going to want to niche down on tech savvy. That's going to be like your hashtag. That's going to be people that you go after with SEO keywords. That's going to be kind of focusing on in your niche group. And you're going to want all of your marketing materials, all of your digital products to be surrounded by that kind of niche that we just described here in ChatGPT. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really neat.
So that's a fairly easy way to start working. Okay, did you guys get this? Click to open here. And hi, Amanda. Hi, Alexis.
Hey.
Alexis Foreman is here. You are a personal trainer, right?
Correct.
So when you're identifying your niche, I saw some of your social media going off. When you're identifying your niche, what type of people do you typically go after?
Most of ours are women aged. For the most part, I have a few male clients, and I'm leaning more into online training just because I'm fully booked completely with in-person training. And I have used a lot of AI. I love what you did and how you explained that to her. It could not have been more simple. I use that for my gym too, because I own a 1,500 member gym, and I'm partially in charge of the social media there. And AI has been amazing. I literally just type in gym social media post for blah, like whatever the case may be, April Fool's Day or whatever. And it's got everything I need. I don't have to think about it. I would sit at my phone or on my computer for 10 to 15 minutes, if not more, trying to think of the right catchiness to grab people's attention to go with the image. So I think you're on point with explaining that to them. It's a lifesaver.
It really is. And that helps me. So once you start really identifying who your target demographic is and how to approach them, then that translates into all of when you're target testing your audience and what they're going to be responding to, whether it be for a digital product or you're trying to find even like a design on like your shirt or how you want to structure your email. Everything comes back to your target demographic, and surveying your audience and understanding who you're talking to, like we talked about last week, in order to be able to really leverage your social media influence and all of that, you need to understand who you're talking to. And in order to create any kind of business or product, you need to know who you're selling to. Because if you're just creating something for yourself because it solves a problem for you, that's fantastic, but it's not going to translate or convert into sales or any kind of income if you don't have an audience and you're not understanding who you're supposed to be marketing to. So if you guys can open the PDF that I sent earlier in the chat, I think my baby has calmed down and we can actually like lock in for a second. Alexia was kind enough to share this with us. I just want to answer a quick question. If you want to grow on social media as well, yes, you're always going to, like for your ChatGPT, I'll take a sidebar. You're going to, like when you're creating a social media post, here's something that I do all the time. I always use talk to text because I always have a baby in my hand. And I will say something like, please create a social media post that's hyper specific for moms that are conservative, faith-based, looking to grow their digital income online, and something that they can walk away with and apply today. So I will start talking about what my target audience is and what they're looking for in that post. And I'll make that post specific to them. Then I will ask for an SEO optimized Instagram caption or a TikTok caption or whatever platform I'm looking to post to. And I will say, please make it SEO optimized, keyword specific, and focused towards my avatar. And the memory has already been updated in ChatGPT, and we went over that, and I'll happily discuss that again at the end of this. But you always want to make sure that your ChatGPT memory is updated. Yeah, absolutely, is updated with with your avatar. And like when you're going after your target demographic, that's establishing who your avatar is. Your avatar just takes it one step further, where you're creating who that human being is. So whenever you're posting on social media to grow, you always want to target that person. So our target audience name is Sarah. Alexia named her Sarah, and she's a mom that is 34. She's kind of isolated. She wants community. She has multiple children. She wants to build a business, but also doesn't want to leave her babies with anybody else. So she wants to be able to work from home. That's really our avatar. So we're always targeting to Sarah. Does that make sense? So for those that don't have the PDF, let me put it in the chat again. There, Sue. Yes, there will be a recording of this and I will text it out. And then at the end, actually, Samia, if you can, do you have the chat, the link to our community readily available? Can you drop it into the chat? That would be awesome. So for those of you, there's a free chat, the free community option to participate, and you can take that Abundant Mom Path to Success. And it's a course that takes you through every step of the way. Toni, you took it. Was it helpful to you?
Yes, it was. It got me very excited. And I feel like this group is a godsend for sure.
We think you're a godsend. I'm so happy. Okay, so speaking of godsend, let's start on page, I think it's 3. And we're going to reflect on these questions. I do want you to fill this out. I would love for you to bring it with you on Thursday. If you are not joining us on Thursday, feel free to email me. You are always welcome to email me. My email is crizzo@abundant-management.com. I'll put it in the chat. I would love to see your responses. I know Alexi and I would love to see your responses. Thank you, Samia. So I think to start, let's just go through these questions and determining your why.
Thank you.
What lights your fire in your soul? So in order to find a purpose-driven business, you have to understand God's put something on your heart already, right? So of course, your babies are first. You're a mom. You're here on this earth. You love your babies. But what else really lights your fire and gets you extremely, extremely excited? And typically what I find is when I'm with that piece on something that I can explain fairly easily, I'm sure that you guys have all even seen a shift on when I'm talking about what I know and what excites me versus not, right? So that is like my God-given purpose, is what is it that's something that comes easy to you that you can talk off the cuff? What is your why? What gets you excited? What gives you the chills? Because what gives me the chills is something totally different than what gives you the chills, right? So when you're determining what your why is, like Toni, you and I were talking about this in one of our one-on-ones, what is like your why is because you want to help educate moms how to help their babies from home, right? What gets you so excited? Can you tell us a little bit about what your why?
Sure. I'm a former teacher and now I home educate. I'm a solo mom of 5. Yes, 5. And it's been a very tough year. But I taught in what would be seen by most people as like an ideal public school situation. It was comparable to a private school. But I just started noticing that the kids that are graduating these days, they're not critical thinkers. And like they're very easily influenced. And my passion is, and my purpose that I'm trying to build is to help parents raise like creative and critical thinkers. And that was my passion too when I was a teacher. And obviously, but keeping my role as mom first. I just noticed the need because I think traditional modern schooling, I have a unique perspective on it because I can see where it falls short and where it's actually hurting creative creativity and critical thinking, as opposed to building it. So I'm trying to bridge that gap for parents. And when it with niching down, it was tough for me in the beginning because I originally wanted to create things for teachers and parents, but then when you try to niche down, like it affects the words that you use, you know? So instead of like students, and I can't just use learners, like it, you know, it doesn't resonate well with moms. So while the products that I'm gonna make and am working on, while they can work well for teachers and moms, home educating moms, like even regular parents too, it's much harder to use the words to target any specific one. So um the best way that was explained to me was like, if you have a room full of 1,000 people, let's say you're like I can't just try to talk to all of them. I'm trying to like tell what my products are, and that will get it down to maybe like 10, 100 people will come form around me, and they're all wanting what I am selling. So it
Right.
helps to niche it, helps to narrow it down to the exact people that we want to sell to, and speak to their specific pain points. And so in my case, it's moms who want to make sure their kids are like future proofed, and that their factory settings that they come with as young children, that curiosity, that creativity, the natural critical thinking is preserved, and not squelched.
Mm-hmm. I love
So
that. I love that so
yeah.
much. And it's so important. And see, that's like the hard, that's the hard part when you are trying to niche down. I think that you said it brilliantly when you said you're trying to speak to 1,000 people when really you just want to speak to the 10 and bring it to those people that understand kind of what you're trying to accomplish. That makes selling a lot easier, but it also gets your point across and you resonate with those people, and they will talk to the other people and they'll talk to their 10 people and their 10 people, and it will grow and the community will become much larger. But I love your mission, and I think that it's so amazing, and I'm so excited that we get to work together.
Thanks. Likewise.
So I guess another question would be, if you're still trying to figure out what your why is, if money weren't an issue, what would you be doing right now? What would it be? Would you be volunteering? Would you be teaching moms? What would you be doing? So I think this is a good exercise. Even when it comes to prioritizing my day, I do try to, when I sit in my meditations, in my prayers in the morning, I try to focus on what my why is, even when I'm planning out my week. So what is my priority, and how do I balance what that why is between being a mom and being a business leader? And what are our focuses? Samia and I talk about it quite a bit on, okay, what is our focus for the next 30 days? What is our focus for the next 90 days? And Amanda as well, when it comes to what we're trying to accomplish with like Abundant Academy, we have to focus on what is our why for that moment in order to communicate that effectively to our existing consumer base. And then when we're trying to expand out and expand our consumer base, if we don't give an effective why and an effective reason as to what we're doing, then we're not going to be like, confused minds they just don't make decisions. So you're not going to get anybody to act. The reason why you're here today is because you knew that at 1 o'clock we were meeting and we were going to be talking about how to niche and build your business from home, right? You needed to understand that. For me, it was very difficult to learn how to communicate that, and I needed to lean into mentors. I didn't understand. I was trying to speak to the millions of just half the population that are women and moms. If you look back on our Instagram messaging way back when, some of you have been here from the beginning, our messaging was very much of a shotgun approach of like scatter here, somebody get something and maybe you'll understand our vision. And when we've been consolidating that and niching that down, we've started to get much more effective results. You'll even see, like, we have a lot of influencers on our platform, like Amanda, like Alexia, like Carissa, that are influencers with Abundant Academy. Even they have different digital products, they teach different things, they have different communities, they have different niches. And in order to communicate with their communities, we have to have a different approach specific to who they're servicing, because they also don't want follower exhaustion. They don't want to oversaturate who their community and following is. Plus, they want to make sure that they're bringing value to the people that they're working with. Whether you're creating a brick and mortar business or a digital products business, or you're a coach, whatever it is, you want to bring value to those people. We're also taught that biblically. We need to bring value to whomever we're with, right? We're supposed to be disciples, and we're supposed to be bringing the word. So in order to do that, we always have to bring value. Amanda, are you around? I can't see your face. I can't see everybody's faces. I think she's here. She's here. Hi. Okay. Amanda is one of the best messaging people I've known. She's definitely one. Oh, thanks, Sue. She's definitely one of the best content creators that I know. Don't tell anybody else. No, I'm just kidding. I know a lot of them. No. So when it comes to messaging, one thing that you taught me quite a bit, and I know somebody was talking about expanding their social media following as well. You have a few viral practices that you teach, but you are so wildly specific when it comes to certain hooks that you have, or when it comes to communicating. And I think because you've been doing it for such a substantial amount of time, that you've learned, even when you have conversations, you have them very kind of, you're an incredible communicator. What are some like key tenets that you use when, number one, I want to know about your why, but also when you're communicating, what are some things that you do regularly? Because you have like your viral strategy, and you taught me like you taught me things that you do. So what is that?
Yeah, so I think I really started to break down like what kind of things catch my interest, like when I'm scrolling, or I'm make a connection with somebody online, like which things catch my interest, and then I utilize those to turn around and make connections with the people who were crossing my feed, right? And so a lot of times it is, so I'm going to quote Mr. Beast, if you guys know who that is, but Mr. Beast likes to say that he does the purple cow effect, which is where he utilizes, like, everyone knows cows. Sometimes just a normal cow is going to catch people's attention because they love cows. Like you're like finding the people who you'll just catch their attention. But with him, he goes for the purple cow effect. And so that's like, what is the thing in your category, whatever it is, that is going to like stop somebody and go like, whoa, wait a second. I've seen cows before. I've seen all kinds of animals. I've seen all, but like I've never seen a purple cow though. Like, why is it purple? Right? You just create that interest. So with that, like that was already what I was doing, but to hear him word it like that made the most sense. Like, that's okay. So we're taking, in my case, it's large family. So whatever it is I'm doing, obviously, since my focus is large family, I say, like, what do I want to talk about? How do I take this, which is a very normal thing. I want to relate to moms, and that's like, I want to build my woman audience. Like, how do I take that and make it interesting enough that you'll stay long enough that we can make a connection, right? And so a lot of times I'll use a hook of like focusing on my family. Like, I'm cooking dinner stay with me while I cook dinner for a family of 14 or something like that, right? So like, you've seen families, but have you seen them do this? Like, you've seen kids, but do we do this? And I've seen moms, but I've never seen a stay-at-home mom who does that, right? I've seen school materials, but have I seen them in this environment, right? There's this other content creator I really love, and I stay for all of her videos. Everything she does, she's just standing in the woods for some reason. Like, it's not really relevant in any capacity, but like it catches my attention every time. And then she's just like, whatever she's talking about, it has never anything to do with the actual woods. And she just happens to be standing in the woods. And like that and alone is enough to be like, what are we doing? Like, why are we out in the woods? What are we doing? And then she gets my attention long enough, and she is so personable. She's so herself every single time. And I know she doesn't resonate with everybody, just like I know I don't resonate with everybody. But if I stay long enough to like get to see her personality, we make a connection, and that's long enough to share whatever it is you're hoping to share, whether that's just information, value, building your audience, or any kind of product you might be selling. So that's what I focus on when I'm creating hooks. So like I do it, like you said, I've been doing it so long. I do it so without thinking about it at this point that kind of like breaking down why I said something a certain way. I have to like go back and look like, why did I say it that way? And then I can recognize I'm still doing those skills that I've practiced and learned, which things catch attention. And since I've been doing it for about 2 years, and we've been like focusing on viral content, like hundreds of millions of views, that I really just like discarded everything that didn't catch attention long enough to make a connection. And we pushed forward with everything that did. But like that was my focus. So that's how we refined into the things that went viral. And the point of virality was to make connections and build a community and then hopefully share resources with that community.
Totally. I think Carissa does something fairly similar, because her and I have had the conversations where I'm like, Carissa, how do you it's always a banger. It's always in the millions. Always. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And if you notice, all of her, typically, I would say 80% of her thumbnails are her with all of her kids around her, which is it's just the purple cow. People are going to stop. They're like, who is this woman with 11 children? Not all of us have that, right? But what she does is she has this common theme across her platform as well, where she's always talking about faith. You know that in every element of her post, you are going to be getting some sort of aspect of her consistently talking about her faith. You'll be getting social impact from you, Amanda, or family dynamics or certain things. But Carissa, it's always almost without fail. There is an element of faith. Even when she does stuff with Abundant Academy, she says, can I say God's words instead of my words? That's just her consistent presence. And I think that hyper-specificity is something to very much learn from as well. So while we can learn from, we may not have families of 14, we can learn from these creators that do, because that hyper-specific approach to their niche community, you're following them for a reason, is something that is applicable to any business that you're trying to create. It's something that's applicable to any kind of social media following that you're trying to navigate. And even if you're not trying to cultivate a social media following, you can do this with very small accounts. I'm currently doing it with a very small account. You will always need a social media presence in today's society for any business you're trying to create. You just need one. And I think the best place to start is just to start posting, and you'll see, again, you'll go back to your why. When you understand your why, you can establish your hyper-specificity, right? We can use ChatGPT to drill down into what you're supposed to be hyper-specific about. We can figure that out once we understand what gives you goosebumps. But you're always going to want to remain consistent and hyper-specific in every single one of your approaches. And if you take like a Maria Went approach to digital marketing, if you look at the AI mom, I am nowhere near perfect by any stretch. I am learning, open to feedback. What I am doing every single day for the next 180 days, Toni has started to do this. I think a lot of our influencers are doing this as well, is you want to create a hyper-specific post. Once you identify who your niche is, you want it to be hyper-specific. And I'm saying that over and over again, so you remember that word. That is applicable to the community that you're wanting to generate and create. You're going to put that into ChatGPT and say, please come up with real ideas. It can be faceless. You can create these posts on Canva. You do not need to put your face out there or your babies out there or anything, but you do need to keep it hyper specific. and you can say, help me. You literally brain dump into ChatGPT and say, help me create a hyper specific post for the next 30 days. You can do it in quote form. You can do it in whatever form that you want. And ChatGPT will come up with way better ideas than I've ever had and help me with, or you, with these faceless posts, or you just text overlay posts to put on top of your reel. So if you are using your face, or you're using B-roll, or you're using something, you can say, please come up with an SEO optimized Instagram caption and text overlay that communicates with the two, and it'll help you. What you're putting on is, that's called a visual hook at the top of your reel. You can do that faceless over Canva. Has a bunch of templates too. But if that's going to help you when you put that hook up there, that's very hyper specific again, it'll help you garner community. And I've started growing almost 50 followers a day. If you look back, I started it in like at the end of February, and granted, I do have the benefit of having a large influencer base, right? That's another benefit of being a part of this community, is leaning into influencers that have already done that when they give you a shout out or talk with you or whatever. So I do get fall off of that, but you would be surprised. It's not happening as quickly as I thought that it was. And it's been since I've shifted my posting to being hyper specific and being able to communicate my message appropriately, that what the AI mom does is gives you ChatGPT prompts to help you automate mom life and business. That is my target demographic. That is what I post daily. I just do it a little bit differently every day. And I thought I was going to make my audience tired, and it's actually grown, and people are asking for more, because you have to remember that you're not going to be hitting the same person every day. I'm not saying to Amanda, here's a ChatGPT prompt every day. Although her and I talk about ChatGPT all the time because we both love AI, but does that make sense? Can I get a hand up? Give me something in the chat.
Hey, I had a thought as well, along with the concept of hyper specific. I mentioned that I focus on like mega viral content, and I wanted to point out that when I first started my social media journey, I met with some professionals trying to decide how and when and what to do to niche down. And we ultimately decided not to. And in the long run, I feel like it's hurt in a lot of ways, but we ended up saying with large.
Amanda reaches 200 million people a month, by the way. So like, I don't think that it hurt her much, but that's okay.
Okay, well, so to say for the context of what we're talking about, I say I don't have an audience that converts well, and that's because I put out content about something like, if I want to talk about cooking or something like that, of the 200 million people that might see my content, maybe only like 100 of them actually really want to see my cooking content. They want to know, like, how do I meal plan? And if I wanted to create more content specific for them, then I like block out a huge portion of my audience to focus on this hyper specific thing. And that hurts me. Whereas if I had built my audience from hyper specific from the start, I would have an audience who is there and they wanted my value. They wanted something very, very specific from me. And I would get to grow with them. And as my interests change and I put out more content, your audience is there for you. They want to know what you have to offer. Right. And so if you have built an audience that is there to receive value from you versus my audience, which is typically here for entertainment, your conversion is going to be astronomically better than mine is. Because honestly, I have brands that hire us to do work, and they are interested in our audience because we have a large audience. But I have tons of brands that pass on our platform because we are too big. And because we're too big, they know that our audience is not loyal in conversion often. It is not a smaller platform of like a couple hundred to 2,000. Oftentimes they can get hired by brands just for their very hyper specific and loyal audience. So yes. I want to say, like, from this side of things, If I had to do it over again, this is exactly, I would go hyper specific. I would start with that super loyal, hyper specific audience that is there for you and the value you have to offer versus entertainment. It's fun being in the entertainment world, but it doesn't convert. And I don't get to build a community of people that are want to literally walk along beside me in whatever part of life we're doing. So this hyper specific thing is key here.
You are so on the money, because the big reason, and I don't know if anybody knows this, when we started Abundant Management, it was specific to, yes, you do that with Lino Cosmetics, Samia, and you're very good at it. We started Abundant Management because a lot of these influencers that you guys see out there, this is just a side note, that are huge, that have these millions of followers platforms, they typically don't have these high numbers of income that everybody believes that they do from their audience, because like you just said, their audience doesn't convert. And so we're learning how to create some conversion metrics by surveying their audience. So it's an amazing case study for all of us to learn from, because we're learning the inner workings of what certain social media, like advertising and marketing, looks like from the inside out, which is really, really neat. But I'm grateful to you for sharing that tidbit, that being hyper specific from the get-go is very advantageous for what we're trying to accomplish, which is less entertainment, more conversion. And like Maria went, if you guys aren't following her, she's not a part of Abundant Academy. Although I would love for the day that she is. We're praying for that. If you are not following her, follow her. She gives the most incredible content. I think she has like, I think it's almost like 300,000 followers or something like that. She's small in comparison to a lot of the influencers that we have, but she has been hyper specific from the very beginning. And what she coaches is announce on your personal profile that if you are going to start going into digital products, you're going to start leveraging your social media for selling, whether it's digital products, which I highly suggest, because they are automated. Once they're created, it's an evergreen product. It is something that is easier to manage, and there's less consumer complaints. It's just easier. It's malleable. And once it's automated, it's automated. But she says, create your hyper specific post for 180 days. Know that you're most likely not going to sell something for 180 days. You're lucky if you can. We will show you what we know that has helped us convert. But just understand that you're going to be posting every single day for 180 days to get to know your audience, to get to know how to be hyper specific, like to be leveraging those ChatGPT prompts in ways that you brain dump into ChatGPT. Know that you're going to be posting that for like 6 months to cultivate your audience. And once you do that, if you're consistent in that, then you will have an audience that is, number one, knows you, likes you, is chomping at the bit to work with you, and will convert. And so if you're making these low ticket items on social media, like a how to do X, Y, and Z with digital products, then you will be able to sell something for, say, $27 or whatever, even if it's in complement to your brick and mortar store, or to a complement to your real estate business, Kristen. Like, I know that you have a real estate business where that's very intensive. It's very amazing to do. It's a perfect career for a mom. I love it, but it does take a lot of hours. It's hard. It's grueling. So if you had a complementary digital product of like, you could even cater to real estate agents. I know Phil Stringer, who works with us and teaches us a bunch of AI stuff. He started in the real estate space, teaching other real estate agents how to leverage AI and work as their listing agents or buyer's agents through certain ChatGPT prompts. There are things that you can be teaching them that you already know, templates for like, here's how to go to a listing appointment, right? Or there are people that new buyers that in order to get, if you don't have like a freebie or a lead magnet on your social media that is hyper specific to your target demo, you need to, I will teach you how to do it. But like you can have like here's how to, on Canva, a template of when you're starting out, here's how to do certain things as a new buyer. Whatever it is, the angle that you want to go with in your real estate, there's ways to do that and put it on social media. Does that make sense? Can I get a yeah? Samia is saying something. Convert means the audience buys what you're selling. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. You need to ask ChatGPT what to post, being a mom of 13 with a 2-year-old and soon to be 6 grandchildren. Yeah, you need to ask ChatGPT that. And yeah, that is a very, that gives way to a lot of people interested in following you. That's a lot of kids. Okay, so we've established our why. You guys are working with your PDF. We have our foundation. You're going to want to reflect on, if you scroll down, I think I'm just going to jump ahead to finding out some talents that you possess. I think all of you are a purple cow. I think all of you kind of have an understanding of what your talents are, what your why is. Is that a correct? Can I get a heart in the chat or get you guys to say, yeah, that's correct. We can move on as to what our why is and how to establish our hyper-specific focus.
Yes.
Okay. So I think what we're going to want to move into is establishing what our ideal customer is. So that kind of leads and segues from what Amanda and I were talking about, which is the hyper-specific. We want to be hyper-specific with our target demographic. Can we get a copy of that prompt? Yes, absolutely, Toni. It's in my, let me put it in the chat because it's in my freebie. So if you guys, it's in my, let me get the freebie, pulled up and sent to you. Just remind me to do that before we hang up. And if you go to like my Instagram, all my freebies, I have over 2,000 ChatGPT prompts on Instagram at the AI Mama. Bye, Samia. I'll see you on Thursday. If you're coming, who's speaking? Alexia on virality and niche. Thank you for coming. Okay. As I was saying, if you go to the AI Mama, I have like 2,000 ChatGPT prompts. I have all of my freebies. Just remind me and I'll put it in the chat. So we know to be hyper-specific. We know how to niche down. We know how to start garnering interest, and we've established who is our target demographic. Now we want to know, what are their struggles? What are their pain points? Because you are not going to get, you may get a purple cow, you may get somebody to stop, you may get somebody interested in you, but if you're not making it about them and you're not solving an actual problem for them, you don't have a business. There is no, there's no reason for them to engage with you. There's no reason for them to communicate with you. There's definitely no reason for them to buy anything from you. So you need to be solving a problem for them. And you need to understand what that problem is. Ideally, it's a problem that you've overcome and you have personal experience with, right? Like for me, I had major, I always wanted to be a mom. I wanted to stay at home and I always wanted to own a business. Like that was it. And I am fortunate enough that my husband, he does well. I didn't need to work. I could just be a stay-at-home mom. And my son had gotten sick and he was medevac to Orlando from Vero, which is like a 2-hour drive. And I ended up having to stay in the hospital with him overnight. And I was fortunate enough that my husband was able to be home with our 1-year-old, but I was alone in the hospital making these medical decisions that I really wasn't prepared to. I was postpartum. He was 6 weeks old. It was very difficult. And I was in the middle of this like victimhood mentality of like, what the, like, woe is me. And I look up and I'm sharing the room with this struggling young couple that was clearly 19. And they were talking about their 13-month-old and they were praying. I'm going to get emotional. And they were saying, I'm going to get fired if I don't go to my job. Can you take this? They're like, they clearly didn't have any kind of support. They didn't have any help. They didn't have anybody. and they were trading back and forth to go to their job, either like at Starbucks or some minimum wage job. And it was like at that moment that I'm like, okay, they're in the worst time of their life. Their baby's in the hospital and they have to worry about covering hospital bills in addition to making medical decisions at 19 years old. I don't even know what I'm doing. Clearly, you know, like just the layers of difficulty that they were having, I was like, I have to do something. I don't want to just stay home. And so I started Cayenne Cash, which is like an e-commerce business. And it taught me quite a bit. And we give back 10 to 20%, 30% of our profits to these nonprofits that are children focused, hyper specific, only children focused nonprofits. That was our core. We wanted to give quality clothing back to social impact and be a social impact business. And from there, it's just grown into working with influencers and working with other moms wanting to do what I do. And then growing into, okay, let's teach other moms how to do what I'm doing, because I'm now making 6 figures from home and I'm working during nap times. So how can I convert this and invest those dollars into building this community to be able to teach other moms how to do what I'm doing, because I know that there's a need. And so that was my initial problem, right? I wanted to be able to solve that problem. I had personal experience with it, and I was able to solve it. And now I'm teaching other moms how to solve it. Whereas like Amanda, you have a different set. You have your daily, like you're solving the issue of family dynamics, not family dynamics, but like family systems, how to eat properly. You've gone through enough pregnancies, a lot of X, Y, and Z things of these hyper specific problems. Kristen, you're going to be the same thing, right? You are solving a real estate problem. I would love to hear everybody's stories. Toni, same thing. So it's being able to identify a problem, solve it personally, so you have personal experience, you can give testimony, and then being able to translate that and convert that into a product that solves a problem for somebody else. Does that make sense, or did I ramble? Okay. Yes. Okay, good. All right. So what is the transformation that they're seeking? So like I explained, the transformation that they're seeking, we have to create change. We have to evoke change. We want moms to be able to make, even if it's not 6 figures, it's just either replacing their, like Alexia wants to help moms replace their corporate income to be able to stay home with their kids, because that tug between working and being home with your babies is really hard. So there's some transformation that they are trying to seek, and how are you going to help them get there? How can you actually make the difference in their lives? So now you know, what is this problem that you're trying to solve? What is the transformation? What does it look like? You know the people that you're targeting. Now, how are you going to make that difference? How God has put this calling on your heart. He has given you a way to do it. He's given you these talents. He's given you some sort of problem that you've already solved by yourself, or not by yourself, with him, right? Now, how can you make a difference and translate that into either a product, a brick and mortar business, or just a digital product for them to be able to feel this difference in their life? There's a ChatGPT prompt here. So I have a program called X, whatever it is that you're naming, ideal for Y, your avatar. Can you create 2 unique buying personas, identify their struggles and desires, the thoughts that have kept them up at night, and what transformations that they want to achieve? And then can you dive deeper into these? So you'll start getting a full layout. I have ChatGPT help me build all of my businesses, all of my business 60, 90 days, give me a SWOT analysis, give me an understanding of where am I, what should be my first hire, because you know my strengths and weaknesses. That's okay. What is an avatar? An avatar is a client persona of who your target demographic is. So like for Abundant Academy, our avatar is Sarah. Sarah is 34, or she's 34 years old. She has multiple children. She wants to work at home. She wants to create, but she still has this bigger purpose. She wants to leave a legacy. She wants to create impact. She wants to help moms. So you basically are speaking to your client avatar on a regular basis. That's who you're targeting your social media posts to. That's who you're targeting your emails to. Yeah, so she's who you're wanting to reach. Exactly. Okay.
Chelsea?
Yes, ma'am.
I think one helpful thing, if you're just getting started too, it helps and you don't know who you want to help. Yourself 5 years ago is a great place to start. Like who you were 5 years ago because you understand your struggles. And I don't know if you journal, but like if you could look back at journals and like look at the words you used, but if you understand where your audience or who your avatar, like how they feel, then you'll be able to create solutions and you'll be able to speak directly to what they need.
Yeah, I love that. That's exactly right. That's perfect. I love that so much because that is the problem that you're solving, and you've learned enough and have enough life experience now and have been through that trial that you're on the other side, most likely, of whatever it is the problem that you're trying to solve in that avatar. I think that's great. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. Like you said, with the transformation, like another way to think about it would be like you were at point A 5 years ago, and then you did some things that worked and didn't work, and then now you're at point B, and like, so how did you get there? And you'll, like, if you just think of yourself 5 years ago, like for me this year, I'm going through a divorce, and now I feel like my calling might be eventually to help like lead kids well through divorce. And so I'm journaling about it now, but like, and I never thought I would be here ever, but like it's kind of neat if you can also kind of turn your pain into your purpose, and like maybe, yeah.
I'm so proud of you. And I think that is so brilliant and needed, because I know I'm a child of divorce, and it was extremely difficult to navigate that as best as my parents tried. It was very difficult. Additionally, I am a stepmom, or a bonus mom, as I refer to myself. And that even in and of itself has been difficult, as open in conversation as we've talked about it, as hard as we've tried to parent and co-parent together. There's still elements of difficulty, because divorce in and of itself is just a difficult thing. So having somebody that can pray their way through it and kind of take a step back and be like, okay, these are the things that worked, these are the things that didn't, I think will be a very valuable resource. Can I get an amen in the chat from everybody, please? Because hello. See, so you can take your personal experiences as well. It doesn't need to be amen. It doesn't need to be like this professional, I am an attorney and this is the business that I'm creating. Like, you can be a mom, you can create a digital product about divorce, gift wrapping, homeschooling, whatever it is. You have some sort of a business idea there, and we can help you create it. And I think that that's something that you need to remember. And I had to take a lot of time to learn, because like, I never would have thought that being an AI mom would have actually turned into a digital product business that creates and generates revenue. And it does, because there are moms that need to understand how to automate their life. Does that make sense? So whatever problem you're solving, there's a business in it. Okay. So I think that, does anybody do vision boards? Because I do vision boards on a regular basis and I love them. Good. I love vision boards. I use them for my goals. I also do the big 365-day calendar. I will post that on our socials today. I think that it's brilliant to set your goals and your vision and to like I want you to, the reason why I'm bringing that up is it's a bonus resource. There's exercises in there to do vision boards. If you aren't, it's a very, very, very good practice to have, that you can look back, like you were just saying, on where you were last year. And what I do is I create my vision board on where I want to be. Who is the woman that I want to be next year? What are the steps that I'm going to take to be that person? Because in order to become whoever you want to be, you need to claim it and you need to act as it. You need to wake up as her every single day of your life, even when it's hard. Like getting ready for this call was a very difficult time, I'm sure for everybody, but for me, I posted about a story on it. I have a very teething, clingy baby. I have toddlers going absolutely insane. Everything in me wanted to be like, okay, maybe I can delay it by 15 minutes. And instead I was like, would that woman show up? Would she show up as best as she can and not reschedule? She would just show up and be like, okay, we're just going to go for it. And we're going to trust in what God has to do. And he brought our community together. So I just want you to remember, like, you need to show up who you envision. When you have your vision board, show up as her, make sure that you make that your person. Because when you look back next year, like Toni said, you're going to be a different person. What is that prayer, Amanda? There is scripture, there is a prayer that when you claim it, right, you have to claim it. I'm like grasping at words. And I think that once you claim it and you act as if you've received it, then he will honor that. And Amanda, I'm on to something.
Faith-filled gratitude. It's something I've been journaling about. Faith-filled gratitude.
Thank you. Faith-filled gratitude. I think that that's brilliant. And you act as if it's already happened, because it has, right? And his will be done. So that's something that I love to do. I'm so glad that you're doing that. Also, vision boards are important, but gratitude journals, I think that's so critically important. That is what changed my life, was sitting down and making sure that I made it a practice to journal 3 things that I was grateful for and to pray over it. 3 things, and really making sure that I was grateful. And whenever I struggle with anxiety, especially postpartum, I struggle with anxiety hard. That's why, like, sometimes you'll catch me kind of spinning and I have to like pause and take a second, take a breath. But if you operate from gratitude, anxiety can't live. So that's one thing that I really learned, and journaling has really helped me, is there's no reason to be anxious when you're when you're filling that with gratitude and being grateful. So I am so grateful. I never would have thought that we would have had people that show up to listen to me and us talk and to join this community as openly as you guys have. And I am so outrageously grateful to all of you and everything that you're doing. And I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you to show up. I know that I wasn't the only one with toddlers and babies and everything, crying or going crazy, your other work calls or whatever it is. Maybe you made time, you showed up for yourself, you showed up for us. And I'm so grateful to you. I will be emailing, and we'll be doing our regular post and our shout out. I will email all of you some freebies, but Amanda put the freebies in there for the AI, so that's good. And I encourage you to join us on Thursdays, because we will be having an expert. It will be very consistent, and then it will be open to questions thereafter. But I am so grateful to all of you. Please put your emails in the chat. Perfect. And if you haven't taken the Abundant Mom Path to Success, it is free. It explains everything that we're doing. It explains different ways that you can create income from home. And it helps you understand what Abundant Academy is. So we'll put that in the chat. But above all, I am so grateful to you, to God, to us, and our community. Yes, can you put your socials and the handles? And then I want to close with a prayer, and I'm going to have Amanda lead us in prayer. And I think that we should do the prayer of Jabez, please, and whatever you so choose. Oh, if you guys didn't know, Amanda is our chief prayer officer. We created that. It's like our chief prayer officer. I think that that's so cool. I don't know anybody else that does that.
Taking screenshots, make sure I got everybody's information. Yeah, make sure you give me your handle so I can, and if you guys want
and please pray for Sue. Her family is trying to move from Texas to are you trying to move from Texas to California? You're moving across the country. I can't remember the state to state, or to Texas, to Florida.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna pray. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Father God, I thank you so much for this time together with these ladies. Lord, I just thank you for their hearts and their homes. Lord, I thank you for their children, for their spouses, for their friends and family, God, that just surround them. Lord, I pray support over them and protection over them. God, I pray abundance in everything that we put our hands to. God, I pray that you guide us and you just put each step in front of us one at a time and give us the focus and the attention that we need to handle the one thing at a time that you've put in front of us, and give us the peace to know that you've got everything else handled. Lord, I pray that you not only protect us from the outside world, protect our children, protect us from overwhelm, God. I also ask that you protect us from doing harm to others. I pray that we are just the epitome of grace and kindness and joy, God, just that we get to be a representative of Christ. Lord, I pray over everyone's situations right now, just that whatever is going on in their lives, God, I pray that you give us a peace to know that you are interested, you are involved, you have your hands in the middle of it. God, you are guiding, you are providing. And sometimes when we don't see it, you are absolutely still in the works. I pray that you give us joy as we go throughout this week until we meet again. And just be with us, God. We thank you and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Also, if anyone wants to turn their camera on, I'm going to take a picture real quick.
Oh yeah, let me put my hair down. Everybody do the hair. And if anybody would like to give us like a quick hi, so we can use that in footage for next week's, that would be awesome too at the end of this call. Okay.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, got it. You guys are awesome. I love all your
Chelsea, did you mean stay after? Like for do a hi? Or what do you mean? How do you
mean like right now?
Oh.
If everybody can just say hi.
Oh.
Welcome to Abundant Academy. And
Hi.
then hi. Sorry. And then yeah, you guys send me. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Lord, for these amazing women who are willing to lead us and guide us and who are turning around to help us. I'm just so incredibly grateful. I know that this is totally aligned with what I believe that every woman here today is meant to be here, and that you put these big dreams and desires in our hearts. And I'm just so grateful for Chelsea and Amanda and I forgot her name. The other one. Yes, Samia.
And Alexis.
Yes, and Alexia.
And Toni. And Phil.
All of them, Lord, all of them. And Bradley and the men who are helping too. I'm just cannot be more in awe and just honored to be here and just so grateful that they are willing and, just so generous with their time and their resources. And I think I speak for everyone that's here, that we're all just so grateful and we're going to pay it forward.
Yay! Pay it forward, tell your friends. If you had any kind of value in this, please let us know. Get loud on socials. I hope that this was valuable to you. I am so grateful. Thank you, Toni. That was beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. Share it on socials. Let your friends know. And I will, we have an affiliate program, so I can send you the affiliate links and you are welcome to participate. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. We will see you later.